You know, if you're going to spend another $200 on a simulator, you might like to watch this to the end. This is really fast-paced double feature containing highlights from both simulators, so sit back and enjoy. Hello folks. Well, many of you know I have and reviewed most of my favorite simulators in the past. But although I love them all, my favorite for really feeling like I'm out flying has been the Aerofly sims. Well, just last week, Aerofly introduced 5 new planes in their full-scale simulator. Well, I've downloaded the F4U Corsair, and I'll tell you, it's extremely fun to fly. And just like the real one, which has a lot of torque, it requires full right rudder and lots of right aileron on takeoff. You know, those things are so torquey. My dad said many pilots were killed just trying to take off too fast, you know, punching it, and then it rolls over on takeoff and crashing. I sure like flying it, and you're seeing just a glimpse of it. For now, the real news is the RC7 version of Aerofly. It has just arrived. Well, I downloaded it immediately for $207.58. You know, that also includes a 2-year loss of software guarantee. And you know, I figure I've saved many hundreds of dollars practicing inverted flying on helicopters and whatever, so I figure it's worth it. Especially since it's going to be really cold and snow and we won't be able to fly. This is the way to do it. Well, if you remember in my last Aerofly video, I made a lot of suggestions to Aerofly, and I hope they added, like, you know, lights for night flying and full-scale helicopter and whatnot. Well, there's no way I can show you every single thing about the simulator in this video, but it's being known for such amazing graphics, and Frapps slows the rate down so much I can't show you how smooth it really flies. And for that reason, I'm taking some shots from my Canon ELPH aimed at the plasma screen. I apologize for the more irie lines on the screen, which is an electronic phenomenon, but at least it'll show you how smooth the plane flies. Well, first off, I noticed there are over 200 models and 50 different sceneries, most of them all real places. It's amazing. And I also noticed on the startup that my orange receiver and transmitter computer interface works just like before. You know, and setting up and using the transmitter software is really easy, and here I'm going to show you how. You know, all my graphics settings are set to medium for this video, as Frapps really slows it down. It's such a memory intense program. In Ultra, the graphics are simply amazing though. Thanks again, everybody. You know, if you flew this simulator in real life, you'd see it flies really smooth. And I've run anywhere from 57 to 102 frames per second amazingly. So it's pretty smooth. Well, I like it a lot, but I am disappointed there's still no lights for night flying. Come on. I do hope, though, if you're buying a sim or upgrading to this new one, that this helps with your setup and maybe your decisions. Me? I'm going back and fly online. Anyway, please stay tuned because you're not going to believe what I've got coming up next. A really cool gift.
Yeah.